It's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, and our next guest is a man who has been well-travelled of recent times, but he's come home, and we love that. A veteran of 208 AFL games with the Carlton, Adelaide and GWS football clubs. Back at Adelaide now doing some work with the Crows, and more importantly from our point of view here on the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, coaching the Ardrossan Footy Club in the York Peninsula Football League. Sam Jacobs, how are you?
Very well, very well. Thanks for having me on.
Great to have you on, mate. We're going to talk Ardrossan in a moment, but first, welcome home. You must be rapt to be back at the Adelaide Crows.
Yeah, very, very much so. Obviously, went away for the 12 months last year, but always had an eye to come back to the Crows. I guess the position opened up, and obviously you had really close relationships with the club, so it was sort of all fitted in really well from my end and there. So it's all going really well.
Well, there's no doubt you're a crowd favourite at the Crows, and one of my funniest nights at football was the GWS Adelaide Crows game last year. Now, we were lucky enough to get tickets to that game sitting just behind, and I'll put this in inverted commas, the GWS cheer squad. There was 20 or 30 very passionate GWS fans, and there was a cheering contest that was going on every time Sam Jacobs got near the football. Did you know that when you were on the field?
No, I didn't actually. That's I've never heard of that. So that's actually really, really warming to hear. That's nice that I get cheered rather than booed when I came back. Because obviously I left on really good terms, and I guess my time was just up in terms of the playing stuff, and it was Riley's time to shine, and the club headed in a new direction. So it was a really amicable, separation, if you want to call it that.
It was. That was a fun night, but I'll take you back to that night, actually. What was it like running around out on Adelaide Oval against a club that you clearly still had a love and an affinity for? Obviously, continuing your AFL career, hoping to get back to grand final day at GWS. It didn't work out, but that must have been a strange night.
Yeah, it was. Definitely was. I guess it was just more a bit of fun for me. In my mind, I knew it was probably going to be my last season, so ironically, playing my last game against the Crows in Adelaide quite a fitting end to that. So, it was definitely a bit weird, but at the same time, the way last year was, I just tried to enjoy it for what it was. Obviously, got a lot of close mates still at the club and still playing. So, if I look back now, it's probably worked out well for us because the Crows got the win. So, but at the time, though, mate, it was definitely a different experience.
Your role at the club now, I mean, you touched on what a crazy year it was with hubs, and if anyone wants to know what it was like for the players through last year, Making Your Mark, that documentary series, have you had a look at that yet, Sam?
Yeah, I have. It's really interesting. I guess, obviously, I lived and breathed the GWS side of it, but it's also good to see what the other clubs are up to.
Yeah, it's worth having a look at that. But in terms of your role now back at the club, obviously you're a star back there at the McGarry Room. Everybody loves Sam Jacobs getting up on stage and having a chat. But is that the funnest part of your role?
Yeah, it is. It is. Obviously, engagement's obviously a big part of my job, and to be able to do that, and I guess just enjoy what's been a pretty successful start to the year for the boys has been really enjoyable. So, the challenge will be as the year gets on, we hopefully can get more and more people there. It's a really good way for the supporters to connect a bit closer to the club.
As far as the fans of the Adelaide Footy Club go, I know there's a big push to try and, from at least at board level and from the management level, that almost wrap their arms around the fans after what's been a tough few years. We've seen that Matty Nix has spoken about the crowd numerous times in press conferences about what it brings to the players. There seems to be a real emphasis at the Adelaide Footy Club now about re-engaging fans and get them back on board, perhaps the way we were back in 2015, 2016, those sort of times. Are you feeling that? Are you getting that sort of vibe out of the club now as well?
Oh, yeah. We're under no illusions as well that, fans obviously make up the club and members especially. And, we're very fortunate that we didn't have to rely on the AFL for finances, which that comes back to the members as well, getting behind us. So, we're a better team when we're playing at home. We've got the crowd behind us. So, obviously it's a great environment to play footy at Adelaide Oval. And obviously that's the on-field side, but off-field, we get a lot of support as well. So, they're the heartbeat of the club. That's what keeps us going. And if we can, continue to play well and give them enjoyment, that's the main thing.
Another bonus for you coming home, and we will talk more about your role at the Crows in the future, but must be the opportunity to get back to the real home, which is Ardrossan, and run around there, get some blood flowing on the field as well. How rapt are you to be back playing footy at Ardrossan?
Yeah, no, it's really exciting. I always said I'd finish where I started, and it's enjoyable to get back. And not only that, my wife plays netball there, and I've got both our parents. My parents are in Ardrossan, and Izzy's parents aren't too far, so it's a really good club atmosphere. I've got a lot of good friends back there, so to be able to go home and play is something I'm really, really enjoying. And I guess it's just another little thing that was a big factor in me coming home was being able to go back to Ardrossan and finish off my playing career.
Well, you're doing it as the coach too, which is important. How are you going juggling the job at the Crows with whatever the expectations are for coaching? I imagine you've got a pretty good team around you there at Ardrossan.
Yeah, I do. I got one of my really good mates, Tom Van Schaik, is my bench coach, and he obviously does a lot of heavy lifting along with our B-grade coach, Nick Bryn. So they hold up, they pick up the pieces when I'm unable to get there and whatnot as well. So, hopefully I'm able to go back and teach them and help educate them more as well. As we know, country footy clubs are the heartbeats of the town. So everyone's getting really behind us, and I think we're set for a really exciting year.
Well, you bang on, mate. I'll tell you what, Kadina, they were like the villains at the pantomime in round one. They didn't read the script. Obviously, we wanted the fairy tale return for Sam Jacobs, and it kind of was, except they won by a point. Yeah,
it was obviously not ideal getting a loss, but to be honest, mate, I'm not going back there for wins and losses. It's about giving back to my community and getting back and playing some footy for my hometown. So obviously, winning would be nice, but at the end of the day, it's bigger than just a win-loss result.
My mail is there was a big crowd back for it as well. They turned out. You were best on, apparently, so I'm reading here anyway. Who's doing those votes? Has this been picked by the coach or what?
That's a funny call. I've copped a bit of feedback from mates about that, but no, I make sure I don't have anything to do with the picking of the best players. So I don't know. I don't know about best on, mate, but it would have been nice to have just played a little bit better to get the win. But that's the main thing.
We've commented before that if they ever ran a footy competition where you got to play once a fortnight, there'd be plenty of blokes playing into their 40s and 50s. But you've had the week off after round one, and now you're back into it this week. You got the old rival, the CMS Crows, coming to town. This should be big.
Well, yeah, it will be. Obviously, first home game for the year, which will be exciting. My mum's my mum's family and all that's from Millerton, so I guess that's all her family is the CMS Crows. So it's quite ironic that we're playing them at home in my first game at home, but we're still missing 4 or 5 key players, which hopefully we can get them back sooner rather than later. But we'll give it a good shake, and as footy goes, you never know what can happen.
Exactly. Who should we be looking out for this year at Ardrossan? Who are the youngsters coming through that Sam Jacobs will take under his wing and try and move them on to the next level?
Yeah, we got a good few guys. You got Nick Damon, Tyson Harrison, Aiden Earthworth. These guys have played a lot of footy together, and we got Jack Ware, who is a local lad, but he's playing reserves down at Eagles now. So we thought we might have had him a little bit more, but fortunately he's playing some footy down in Adelaide, which is exciting for us as a club. And on the back of getting Caleb Poulter drafted, and obviously myself playing a bit of AFL and Angus Roundtree, winning a couple of league B&Fs, we're really excited by the juniors that come through. And I'd like to think we do as good a job as any in developing these guys for a town that's obviously we're not very big in the scheme of things. So I think we compete pretty well from that point of view.
Absolutely you do. On York Peninsula, always have. There's been some stars get out of YP, head to the Eagles, and then move on to bigger honours after that. The Eagles are flying at the moment on the back of contingent that have come back from the AFL, but also the group underneath that are coming through from places like the York Peninsula. Is that your goal now, to try and usher a few more through into that pathway?
Yeah, absolutely. You see Lockie Jones from Butte's just having a big impact. Boyd Woodcock's there as well. We've got a fair few guys from the area now playing AFL, which is really great. And we've contributed fairly heavily to the Eagles Premiership last year, which is exciting for the area. And I guess that's the challenge for a 33-year-old ruckman coming back, is that these kids just want to learn, they want to get better, and makes our competition stronger back home as well.
Well, the Crows love having you back, mate, and so do the Ardrossan Footy Club. We wish you well for the season on the field there with Ardrossan and off it with the Adelaide Footy Club. Thanks for spending some time with us here on the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, mate. We'll let you get back to work.
All good, mate. I look forward to many chats throughout the year.